All right. So today I'm just going to talk about the Ayurvedic herbs for the mind. Now, having said that, many people, if they've come to you with issues that have nothing to do with the mind, um, you still have to address the mind, right? Somebody may have come, I have, issue with digestion or my skin is breaking out because stress and imbalanced vata can lead to a lot of problems. And you have to address. So just because that we are saying this is an Ayurvedic herb list for the mind, Ayurvedic herbs have energetics that, affect, for example, ashwagandha. If someone has a low body weight, they should eat ashwagandha to increase body weight. It also helps immunity. It clears the lungs. It helps the nervous system. It basically is an adaptogen. It helps people who, women who are not getting their periods, men who have a low sperm count. It is also a, uterine tonic. So after post-birth, if a woman, after she has stopped nursing, you could give for issues like weakness or dysmenorrhea, amenorrhea. So just to give that, this is one example. This is one thing, ashwagandha. So, but for the sake of learning, we have divided the herbs into a list. And when you do AC 108, a lot of these herbs that you will cover in AC 108, when you start AC 10, is it 8 or 9? AC 108, yes, that's what it is. When you start that, you will notice a lot of stuff has already been covered. So it won't be such a big surprise to you, including this. So this is just for the sake of learning that we have covered it. I would like to start with offering a little prayer to Mother Earth and also sending a shout out for people of Hawaii and some love and affection there. Opele, Mother Earth, please calm down. And yeah, I'm done with my prayer. Okay. So what are the manasa imbalances? Manasa imbalances, Atul has covered few. He's going to cover a few of them next week. And he's covered Vishada, which is depression. He's covered Unmada. Has he covered Unmada? Madmoha, the 6 enemies of the mind. I think he's going to cover it next week. So I'm not going to talk about these because he's going to cover it next week. Let's go straight into herbs that are really good for the mind. And remember, just because they're good for the mind doesn't mean they're not good for other things. So I was already talking about ashwagandha. Does anybody take ashwagandha here? Anybody take ashwagandha? Antonia, you take it? For energy, right? I think I asked you to take it, right? Yeah. Okay. And also for thyroid issues. So when you start AC 108, we already know what rasa means, right? So we want to know what parts of the thing is used, and you want to know, especially once you become an herbalist or if you get interested in doing herbs. This is just for information purposes. Studies have been done related to ashwagandha for Alzheimer's, a lot more, but this is just one of the studies. What does adaptogenic mean? Does anybody know? What does adaptogenic mean? Nobody? Anybody what adaptogenic means? Nobody's going to quickly Google it. All right. Basically, adaptogenic means it adapts to the level of stress hormones produced by the body. I don't want to use the word combat them, help support stress. So basically, what happens? What are some of the hormones that will be produced when you're stressed out? Which is basically the kind of the kind of lives that we live. My God, I mean, if you have a school in a high school, or okay, forget high school, even if you have a little child, the amount of stress that we live in, right? Anybody? Yes, you have cortisol, you have adrenaline, you have a few more. Think about it. cortisol would definitely be on the top of the list. And so, and when you have these stress hormones, they're also directly related to the amount of serotonin produced in the body. So what ashwagandha is doing is it kind of it adapts to the level of stress hormones. It tells, it allows the body to produce less stress hormones. I know we cannot actually say that because technically Ayurveda is not supposed to prevent, cure, or diagnose any disease, right? That is because it's not recognized by FDA. But studies have actually shown that in India, these are just studies that have been done in India, that it actually stops you from releasing that. So I have given, like, for example, I had a client and she had gained a lot of weight around the middle. She was a very pitta woman, very thin, very slim, and nicely built. And she was just so stressed out. So I just gave her something for the liver and some ashwagandha, and she just lost all the belly. It had nothing to do with the belly. It was just all stress. That's just one example I'm giving you. So what it does is, when you have cortisol, when you have high amounts of cortisol, basically those hormones are running around in your bloodstream like hooligans, and they're causing a lot of harm. And you want to, and of course, they are the leading cause of every modern disease related to stress. I mean, insomnia, being unable to sleep, depression, anxiety, of feeling spaced out and whatnot. So adaptogen, it adapts to it. And then of course what happens, the amount of energy you have also goes down. So this is why ashwagandha is giving you energy. Ashwagandha increases, it supports both vata and kapha. Here it is. So I only want to talk about right now two things about ashwagandha. Ashwagandha, when we talk about tissues, you want to, low body weight, you want to increase rasadhatu, whatnot, anemia, all that. We'll talk about it. Right now, I'm only interested in almost like a nervine and sedative quality of ashwagandha. So if you're interested in herbs, you need to nervine and sedative. What does that mean? Anybody think what nervine and sedative means? So there have been studies, let's talk about nervine and sedative. There have been studies done for children with attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, and also, on the spectrum, but, highly functioning. Not where they're on, on the autism spectrum, but highly functioning. And this was done in Tamil Nadu, in Chennai. This was years ago. In India, I actually had a friend years ago who was part of that study. And the ashwagandha was actually given with brahmi. It wasn't just ashwagandha. It was given with brahmi, and it was given in a ghee form. It wasn't given like a powder, or like it was in a ghee and a jam form. And they had very positive results for that. It really helped that hyperactivity. Now, we have family here in Texas, and they have like 8 kids, or they have a huge family, and they can't manage it. So and this is normal. So they're going to the doctor, and they're giving these drugs to the child, which basically sedate a child because the kids are hyperactive. Now, I do believe there's a problem in America. A lot more kids are, given the label that they're hyperactive. I believe they're just super intelligent kids who have a lot of energy. And in India, having a hyperactive kid, because their mind is very active, it's a sign of intelligence. So, I mean, that's my personal thing with whole being labeled as ADHD. Then you get a lot of resources from the state and help from the state, and they're given sedatives, so they're a little bit more calmer, so the parents and teachers can deal with them. I am totally against it personally. You don't want to do that. I do want to tell you a story of ashwagandha and brahmi for one autistic kid who came here, and he was 3 years old. Yes. And the parent was crying. He was sitting in front of me and he was shedding tears, and the child was like all over the place. So we gave him a little bit of a brahmi ashwagandha, very small amount of like a jelly mixed with a jam and ghee. So there was a 90-minute consultation. By 90 minutes, he was sitting down and calm, and he was playing music. I have musical instruments. And the mom and dad are like, what just happened? Well, this 3-year-old was on, drugs, on nervines and sedatives given by a psychologist. And then I've had kids who are on all kind of drugs because parents can't handle it. Anyway, that is just me. But just to let you know, you do need to know your posology. You do need to know your doses, and Brahmi is very safe to give. Ashwagandha will have a sedative effect, so it is also given for sleep. Now, if you have a pitta person, sometimes instead of a sedative effect, it will actually stimulate them. So how it is given is kind of important. It has to be given. So ashwagandha has few things. Ashwagandha rishta form, leham is a jam form, which is what I had given, churna form, which is powder, vati form, it basically is basically a tablet, like a little tablet. Brahmi vati. Now this is very. It has both Brahmi and ashwagandha in it. It's a very top Ayurvedic herb. You could actually make your own Brahmi vati. It's pretty easy. So ideally, you take powders and you mix them. You make a little paste with them, and then you add ghee to it and you cook it in ghee, and then you dry out the ghee and make it into small balls. And that's how they make Ayurvedic vatis. And of course, using ashwagandha as a tailam for tailam is the oil, and giving oil massage. So ashwagandha is quite fantastic. How much a day? I would say half a teaspoon for a normal adult, to twice a day. To twice a day. Now, half a teaspoon twice a day kind of works out to be maybe, that's 500 milligrams, which is 1 teaspoon. This is regular person who doesn't have a lot of stress. If someone has stress, it could be 1 teaspoon twice a day. Now, these are things that you will learn when you do herbology. Now, really, posology is not part of for the counselor, because it's very extensive. So a normal thing is, according to most of the herbs that they come in either 250 milligram, 500 milligram. That's fantastic. So if you're doing a powder form, well, 1 teaspoon, just remember one formula, you don't want to ever give like 3 or 4 teaspoons. That is huge amount of dose. 1 teaspoon is 500 milligrams. Remember that, which is equal, 1 teaspoon of whatever herb is equal to 500 milligram. And that is your usual dose for a normal person. And for a child, it is literally like how do you pinch of salt? That it's a really small amount. But it's out of the scope. You will not be giving anything to children. I will tell you what is good for children in a minute. So 500 milligram is 1 teaspoon. Usually that should suffice for a normal person. And I believe everybody should take ashwagandha. Especially women, because for the stress, which is related to PMS and menopause and postmenopause, and also amenorrhea, menorrhea, it's really important. Okay, let me save this for you. Some question, let me look. What does nervine mean? Nervine means that it calms down the hyper nervous system. Does it make sense? So it basically relaxes nerves that are overactive and basically tonifies in the central nervous system. So it nourishes the nervous system. When it's nourishing the nervous system, it's kind of calming down nerves that are all over the place. So think of the effect that people who take sedatives have. It kind of puts the nervous system to sleep, right? And that's how they're calming down the body by putting the nervous system to sleep. They're just so have you seen people who take prescription drugs for the mind? They're like zombies. They can't think. So when ashwagandha, it will also have that same effect, but it has the same effect by calming down the nervous system. It actually helps them and nourishes the nervous system, so a person becomes actually more after at night they will have a good night's sleep. They'll feel a little like sleepy. In the morning they get up, they'll be a lot more clearer. Do you see the difference, Patricia? I saved it for you guys. Okay, perfect. Now this is something that can be given to children. In fact, it is given to children. You will have a hard time finding Brahmi Grita, Brahmi Vati, Brahmi Dailam, but Brahmi powder. And what is the easiest and you can actually grow it? I started growing some. I've grown it before. Um, there is another herb called, they are kind of, think of them, they're like sisters of Brahmi. Like, sisters who look alike, who like the same things. So Gotukula or Bakopa are in the same family as Brahmi, and they have the same rasa, virya, vipaka, prabhava, everything. So they're very, very familiar, and that's a lot easier to get in, but they're not Brahmi. So I am growing, Bakopa in my backyard, and oh God, it grows like a weed. It is a weedish. It's actually a weed and wants very moist areas. So, if you live in California, just throw it in near a pond and it's a weed cover. It's a ground cover. So you will be able to find Gotukula and Bacopa very easily. It's the same, very, very similar to Brahmi. So that's a great alternative. You can find these tablets or powder in sprouts. You can find them all over the place. Brahmi literally means the consort of Brahma, meaning Brahma is the creator and his wife is Brahmi. So basically the idea is it facilitates divine consciousness. So just like ashwagandha, does anybody have the book Ayurvedic Medicines Principles of Traditional Practice by Sebastian Paul? If you don't, that's okay. But at some point I'm going to ask you to get it. You don't have to have it today, but I'm going to read some stuff from there. Because herbs, I mean, you really need, we're going to give you a lot of information on herbs. You don't need to, but it's a really great, okay. All right. So the reason I like this book for counselors, this book is not even like our practitioner. By the time you get to practitioner, you need to know this book. Really, you need to know this book. The reason I like it is because it has the energetics, Ayurvedic action. It's a really great, like a go-to book. All right. So just like we're talking about nervines, just like ashwagandha, it is a nervine. It nourishes the nervous system. It is also medhya. Medhya means that it actually, whenever you see the word medhya, that increases memory, it increases concentration. In India, they will give it to kids just before you have an exam. It calms the mind. So I remember I had this physician who was like in a residency, and she was taking these exams and she was going crazy. So she would come to me every 15 days and she would be listening to her books and wanting a massage at the same time. She said, I can't take it off. And I said, if you're going to get an Ayurvedic massage from me, you need to take this off. I promise you, you will remember everything. So I would give her Brahmi internally, and I would give her a Brahmi massage. And then she was like, she, I think, went and learned about Ayurveda because it really, really, really helped her through her, residency and medical exam, because I'm telling her, we're going to be entrusting her future lives in your hand. Are you serious? You don't know what you're doing. You're just going and regurgitating. Like, they had exams for 7 hours. You could barely go and pee. So yeah, took a lot of Brahmi and ashwagandha that really helped her. She started, actually, I think she's studying Ayurveda or something now. That's fantastic. So just like ashwagandha, Brahmi is also given because they're nervines and they're sedatives. So they're calming down the nervous system. And because they're calming out the nervous system, that's why they are really good for insomnia and stress. Anything pretty much to do with the mind you could give. And this is it also kind of for memory issues. Brahmi can be given to children. It's a very small amount. So doing a Brahmi oil massage. Brahmi is also, you know what is a side effect of Brahmi? It reduces gray hair and hair fall. That is a side effect of Brahmi. It is so good for the hair. I mean, in India, we grow up putting Brahmi oil, and I'll do my Brahmi oil every 2-3 weeks. And then I have I call them the Brahmi caps, because when I will wear the Brahmi oil for about 24 hours or even 48 hours, but it smells of Brahmi, and everywhere I go, I've had people complain, oh God, what is that smell? Because it's Brahmi. So I bought these caps that cover my hair, and I call them my Brahmi caps. And it's really, really, really great for headaches, especially the headaches that are related to, doing too many activities and tension headaches. And the oil actually can be used for joint pain as well. So it's quite fantastic. Again, just like ashwagandha, it has been used with ADHD, autism, depression, Parkinson's, and even drug addiction, according to this book, which is, they're not talking about what study, because I want to look at the studies. All right, this book is really good because for everything it is giving, again, the dosage is, like I said, one teaspoon is an average. If it's a child, it's just probably 1 gram. 1 teaspoon is 5 grams or 500 milligrams. You need to know your metric system, because in entire world, except for United States, nobody uses the whatever system they use here, the whole ounces and whatever. You have to know your metric system. In medicine, they use metric system in US. They do not say that much ounces of blood. It's always how many grams and milligrams, okay? Just so it has pretty much the same qualities as Brahmi, except ashwagandha has almost everything the same qualities of Brahmi, but ashwagandha is heating. Ashwagandha is heating. So if you want to give it to pitta person, it's not that great. But Brahmi is almost, it's very, very cooling. So can be given to all the 3 doshas, but to vata person, you want to give it with ghee or something, because you don't want to make them too cold, because it will cool you down. Any questions? All of them, because we're talking about, herbs for the mind, all of them are same thing. They're all rejuvenating for the mind. Any questions? Let's see the chat. Yeah, so that was, Antonia, that's page 149. Brahmi. Now here it says common name for Brahmi is Bacopa, but remember Bacopa is a sister. It's like twin sister of Brahmi. It's actually not Brahmi. There are mistakes in this book, but it's not the same thing. It's almost the same thing. Bacopa has the same Rasavirya, Vipaka Guna Prabhava, but it's like a variant. I love Bringaraj, but it knocks me out. Like if I were to put Bringaraj oil, I will sleep for 14 hours. It is. Oh my God, it is so good. Bringaraj is absolutely awesome. Let's get Bringaraj out. Yeah, I am looking at the book, so I could give you some extra stuff. So Bringaraj in India is most famous for falling hair, graying hair, early baldness, alopecia. But it has a really beautiful effect on nerves, and it is also medhya. Remember the word medhya I just told you? Bringaraj, of course, is also very famous for cleansing the liver. So if you have a pitta person, it's fantastic because it's really super cooling. But it will increase, and it's very dry and light, but its vipaka is pungent. So the for headaches also it's pretty good. Um, and also for ocular headaches, let me write that down. Headaches related to the eyes. So again, the same thing as Brahmi, same thing as ashwagandha. It is a nervine tonic. It helps insomnia. It's a sedative. Um, and I've given everything here. But mostly for a pitta person, it's really good. But you don't want to overdo these herbs, because what happens in the West, oh, this is good for me, let's just overdo it. Please. It has to be very limited dosage. So same thing, 5 gram per day. Actually, let's do 2.5, 2 gram to 5 gram per day. Remember, 1 gram is equal to 100 milligram. And when you get anything, in a tablet form, you're doing, you get it in a milligram. But of course, as Ayurvedic practitioners, we always want to get the powdered form. So 2 to 5 gram per day, right? It has a lot of good things, but it's really good for memory. It's medhya, same qualities as Brahmi, but it's really good for a pitta person who's getting pitta headaches, whose liver needs cleansing. So for pitta, I would say it's one of the top herbs, though it's good for vata and kapha also. Sarah, we haven't done AC 108. Vipaka does not matter in herbs. So I'll have to take 1 hour just to explain that to you. But just suffice to say, when we are giving Ayurvedic herbs, you will find rasa, taste is not important. Virya is not important. Vipaka is not important. What's important is guna and prabhava. And also when we give it, we are giving it with something what we call anupanas. Anupanas counteract the drying effect or the light effect or whatever effect that they're going to have. And we haven't done anupanas yet, but anupanas basically counteract that effect. I'm just going to give you this much, but just go and look up anupanas, and that'll give you an idea. But yeah, we will do an entire class or 1 or 2 hours on anupana. So that'll make sense then. But yeah, I'm glad you're getting into it. All right, Bringaraj is done. So I don't really give out rasana so much, and the reason for it is it's so hard to find here in the West. But of course, in India, it's easy to find, and we give it for vata-related issues. So, for example, sciatica is called gridrisi. So anything that helps vata, rasana will help it. So in that sense, it's helping vata, but it's very hard to get. So we are just going to leave this. But I don't even think we have this in our list in Ayurveda Council of Herb. We have an herb list that we teach you. No, I don't think so. Yeah, we try to put herbs in there that are easily available in the West. Roses are, well, there you go. Rose is absolutely fantastic. Um, you know, how do I start? I mean, rose is Deepana Hridaya Shukrala Medhya. It is Medhya, it improves the intellect. Again, the word Medhya. So memory, calms mind, calms heart chakra. It is balancing for all three doshas, and it is especially good for pitta. Actually, let me not write pitta. And it has an affinity for the female reproductive system, and also for, of course, the nervous system. And it's cooling, right? It's rose, it's cooling, but it also light. So it's cooling and light. So one of the best ways to give roses, because it's dry, you want to give it with something wet. So we give it in a tea form. So tea is a really great thing. We also have the rose jam. I just gave rose jam to someone yesterday. And also great for, again, he talked about ocular headaches. So for rose, I would say for mental issues, what? Again, essential oil of rose can be used. So, when I have a lot of people, like 50% of people who come to me, whatever issue they're coming up with, like I just saw someone who's had chemotherapy. She's just stressed out. She's just stressed out. Then she came and she's in tears. And I have a essential oil of rose and rose tea and rose jam that I offer to all my female clients. And I remember this. So I offer them. They said, "Do you mind if I put some essential oil of rose on your forehead? And here's some rose jam and here's some rose tea." And they're like, what is up with rose?" And the thing is, they calm down, and it's just that they've been to nobody's really spent an hour talking to them about their issues. You're just being neurotic or whatever, especially with PMS. So rose really helps you calm down, and you do need to make a hot tea with it. You could get dried rose petals. From Amazon. Just get a big pound of dried rose petals from Amazon. And I got one for $10. Some of them are like $100. It's ridiculous. Get one from Morocco or something, because it has to be a fragrant rose. So it actually helps with hormones as well. So really, really good for a new mom. You probably, yeah, it is a little bit of a pain trying to make your own rose, because you need to have the right rose. It is the fragrant rose, which is called Shatapushpi. So it is, a Moroccan rose or Turkish rose, or the rose that you get in Turkey or Morocco or India, that you don't get that rose. So here, let me tell you something about rose. When I came to this country, I am trying to smell the rose and there's no smell. So the smell of roses, the Moroccan roses or Turkish roses or roses from India, is so strong, you can smell it from 1,000 feet away. Especially it's very hot weather, and the weather and then people will have like mangoes and roses, and you can also smell the bad stuff. But yeah, in that heat, that smell carries. All the vegetables, the flowers that you have no idea what a rose is in the West. It's super fragrant. It's called Shatapushpi. There's this big rose and they will make this garland, and they usually sell it in front of temples, and you offer it to deities. You can smell it, I'm telling you, 500 feet, 1,000 feet away. The whole place smells like roses. Now that's a rose I'm talking about. Can you get that rose in the West? So it's better you get a ready-made. I get my roses either from an Indian store, which is you can get dried rose petals, or I get them from Amazon. I make sure it's Moroccan or Turkish. Also, when you buy the essential oil of rose, make sure make sure it's Moroccan or Turkish. I found a rose essential oil which was $120. I'm like, are they out of their mind? And then there was one being sold by this Moroccan company. It was $18, same amount. So I got that one. So make sure it's from those countries, and yeah, so you can get no problem. My oil, I just buy from Amazon. What company? So I'll have to walk and find my rose oil. I'll give you a break in a couple of minutes, and then I'll go and find it and tell you. But in the meanwhile, let's finish this off, and at the end of the class, I can write it in the window. All right, Tulasi clears pranavaha shrotasas, clears blockage in heart chakra, brings clarity back, helps bring fever associated with respiratory. We are not interested in anything else. We are only interested right now, because of you doing manasa, is adaptogenic. Especially when someone is very tamasic, like a kapha person, or someone who's eating a lot of meat. They don't have any sattva. When you want to move someone towards sattva, people having those, oh, I'm having bad thoughts, or I actually had a client who tried to commit suicide last year, and I did so much rose and tulsi. She is a different person now. Yeah, because she basically needed sattva in her life, and I sent her to a really nice yoga teacher. And between the yoga and the tulsi and the vegetarian diet, it's really, you cannot, if you want to promote sattva, they have to move toward mostly a vegetarian diet. It's just impossible. There cannot be sattva without, if animal meat is being eaten. So the more sattvic a diet is, the better it is. But yeah, she's doing so good. But we are only interested, Tulsi again is adaptogenic, exactly like ashwagandha. So ashwagandha and Tulsi go very well together. So ashwagandha can be given with, also Brahmi is. So Brahmi, Bringaraj, these were the 3 herbs that we have talked about today, can be given with rose tea or Tulsi tea. Tulsi plus rose tea can also be given together. Does it make sense? So you can, like a mixture of ashwagandha, Brahmi, Bringaraj with rose and Tulsi, and you will see some of the formulas, and I'm going to show you a couple of websites. Let me go find that essential oil bottle and tell you. Give me 1 second. All right. So the way they have a wholesale program. Does anybody have wholesale accounts? Okay. To get a wholesale account with any company, you need to have a resale license. So if you're in Texas, you just go online and you get a Texas sales and use tax permit. Remember, you have to pay, even if you haven't sold anything, you still have to fill forms out. If you're in another state, all the sales and it's called sales and use tax permit. Let me write that down. Yes. So no, it can be done online. You don't need to talk to anybody, Morgan. Just go to the website, and Texas has one website, and just apply online for Texas sales and use permit. You just give your address, you give your name or company, and then are you going to be selling online or locally, and that's it. And then every 3 months you have to submit for 6 months I sold 0 things, because when we first came to Texas, so I had to submit $0 sold. And then you whatever the taxes for Dallas or whatever. If you're going to have a wholesale account, please do that, because you get these herbs 45% less. And that is same for most companies have this $500 thing. Please tell them you're from Learn-Ayurveda and Yoga Academy. I'll give you his number. And then because the college gets freebies from them, which we use for, community service. And when you come for the internship, that's when we use, you'll see that we have a lot of freebies that we're giving out to our clients. That's because we get it from Maharishi Ayurveda. So just to let you know, full disclosure, that we get freebies for them when you sign up. But even if you didn't, they have some really fantastic herbs. I just want to show you some of the stuff that I've actually used. And here we go. Mind and memory. Of course, that's organic Brahmi. So it's $10. If you have the wholesaler account, you will pay $6. So, you're, if you already have a practice, that's fantastic because it's for resale. And even if you cannot be getting it for yourself, but even if you do use it for yourself, you still have to pay the sales tax on it to the. So I have used Stress-Free Mind for years and years for my clients with Manasa issues. Can we look at the Ashwagandha, Bacopa, which is Brahmi? This you haven't done. Gotukula, again, Brahmi. Indian Tynospora is Guduchi, which is nothing to do with nervous system. Just let's look at licorice. Licorice, we know it actually is calming for Udanavayu, and it increases the efficacy. So Ashwagandha, Bacopa, Godukula, Bacopa. And another herb is called Jatamamsi. We haven't done it yet, but we will be doing it later. So this is a really, really, really good herb. And it has your FAQ, how to use, tips, product details, suggested use, take 1 to 2 tablets. Now, one of the things is they will always say take 1 to 2 tablets twice a day with water. So it's usually their herbs I like because everything is either 500 milligrams or 1,000 milligram. It's not a weird number like 850 milligrams, because 500 is 1 teaspoon, 1,000 is 2 teaspoons, and you're going to do 1 teaspoon and 2 teaspoons. Any question? Yeah, no, I use, unfortunately, it is expensive. And the reason why it's expensive is because they get the herbs tested by third-party labs for contaminants. And another one that I have used, I have used for my children clients who have been, let me put it there, my kid clients, especially with ADHD and with autism, and it has had some fantastic results. Now, if you are, if you know Sanskrit, this is basically Saraswati Arishtam. This is a Brahmi Arishtam, but they've just changed the name. But at this time it is, so it's $32 but the point is the difference between this and Saraswati Arishtam is that this one has been tested by third-party labs for contaminants. When things are coming out of India, there are contaminants in it. My Indian clients do not care. They only want stuff from India because it's cheaper. I myself will not pay $32 for it. I will only get stuff from India. But for my Western clients, I will never give them stuff from India. I mean, unless it has been tested. Do you know where I'm coming from? So this is just fantastic because it has a shelf life of years and years and years because it's arishta. When it's a liquid form, it has a shelf life of many, many, many years. Also, it has shatavari in it, so it gives energy too. And yes, I have given this to people, especially with who have memory issues and are stressed out and insomnia. Now, it has nothing to do with insomnia because they need to sell their herbs. They're calling it Mindflex, but they have something called ashwagandha and Indian valerian, which is called tagara. Dagara is basically really fantastic for putting someone to sleep. So here we look at the ingredients. Ashwagandha, jatamamsi, licorice, and valerian. I'm not going to do the rest. And pearl. So great for a pitta, pitta person or someone who has anger. That reminds me, I have something here when someone is really angry, which I've been given. Another one that I've given to people, and I think it's the best one for insomnia, is called deep rest. I myself take deep rest. So what I do is I'll buy these herbs, and because I really don't want my clients spending $40 or $30. So I'll take 6 herbs and just charge them $4 or $5. So I'm still making money, but or I'll give it away for free, because they're paying me whatever $80 for the consultation. But I myself take deep rest. Not that I have anything to do with this, but because it balances your pitta. And it also is great for anger management too. I take it because I get these pitta headaches, and if I take it with ashwagandha and take a 30-minute nap, headache's gone just like that. And so this one I have given to a lot of musicians. Is Stephanie here? Don't think so. Steph, are you here? Oh, you are here. Stephanie, I've given this. I know she's here. Steph, I've given this to a lot of musicians who have concerts at night. So they're coming back home like really, really late. I just started giving it to my son, who is now becoming a really serious violinist, and he has all these concerts going on. He's coming back home. He's practicing 4 hours a day after school. Then he has to go for his concert. Then he's coming back home 11. He has to get up in the morning to go back to school. And, this knocks you out. And for you even if you get sleep for 6 hours, those 6 hours are nice deep rest. And I've had these like one of my clients who's a famous musician here in Austin. He gave it to the entire band, and yeah, they have been giving me some amazing feedback that I can't share while we are recording, but maybe stop share. Yes. But the deep rest, yeah, they have been telling me, because many of them do ganja. With musicians, what do you expect? That they don't need to do the ganja anymore. I said, that's great. So there you go. So it's really good. Let's look at the ingredients. Oh, we already looked. Yes, it also has rose, amala, again, amalaki, things I'm trying to think of things that you've already done. Ashwagandha, shatavari, cardamom, ginger, pipali, pepper, cinnamon. So this is a good formula. This one I have not seen before. Let's look at what they have. You're noticing it is basically the same combination of herbs with different names for. So if you really know the ingredients, you don't need to buy the formula. Gotukula, Brahmi, licorice. Basically, it's a Brahmi thing. So whatever ingredient is first, basically, just to let you know, when people make up the thing, organic dwarf morning Indian tennis purula, licorice. So this would be great for teenagers, because in teenage the pitta is very high, right? So this would be good for teenagers. So I don't know if you have any teenage clients. I have a teenage client coming today, actually. I get a lot of teenage clients, and all of them have one problem. Basically, they're stressed out, and yeah. Let me find you 1 or 2 more herbs that you can make yourself. Give me one second.